in Business. I'm your host, David Wojcik. Thanks for being with us this evening to celebrate entrepreneurship in Peel Region. As the weather gets colder, business heats up. And what a hot show we have for you tonight. On tonight's show, to celebrate Halloween, we have conjurer Dan Stapleton, who will not only amaze you with his sleight of hand, but also with his business sense. John Goldstein is here to discuss what makes a great video for a website, and get ready with your Canada Revenue Agency horror stories and questions, because tax lawyer Paul Diogardi is in the house to take your calls and tell you exactly what your rights are when it comes to fighting the tax man. If you would like to ask a question of our guests, or make a comment, or join the conversation, you can call us at 905-848-5483. That's 905-848-LIVE. Or you can tweet your question to @David Wojcik, or use the hashtag RTVInBusiness. First up, do you know how to create a disturbance with your business? Ken Tencer does, and that's what his second book is all about. Ken is a branding and innovation thought leader and co-developer of the 90% Rule, which was the topic for his first book. As CEO of Spyderworks, Ken helps companies with both branding and innovation strategy, and he is here to discuss his second book, Cause a Disturbance. Welcome, Ken.
Thanks for
Good to
having
see
me.
you. Come on, thanks for coming back. The second book, Cause a Disturbance. So you didn't have enough success and notoriety with the first book and enough excitement, you decided to write a second book. Give us the premise of what Cause a Disturbance is all about.
You know, it's about breaking through. It's about reminding companies that I don't care if you're a solopreneur or if you're a RIM, you can't rest on your laurels anymore. You can't let products or your services just sit there for 2, 3, 4 years and ride them. You always have to be looking for ways to disturb the status quo, to introduce something new or relevant or breakthrough to please your customers.
Yeah. We say cause a disturbance, it's such a generic term. It sounds so big, it sounds so difficult to even understand how to create that disturbance. How do you break it down for your clients into bite-sized pieces and a process of how they can get to that point with their own business?
Well, the first thing I do is I let them understand how simple innovation can be, and we go through just looking at, you know, great things that are simple to work out in the marketplace. For instance, you know, I'm standing on the corner one day, I've called a cab, my cell phone buzzes. I look in on it, it says, cab 118 is 1 mile away. And if you want any more information, just text back. That's innovation. That's a disturbance. You know, not all disturbance has to be major or very costly.
Right.
But it has to answer a customer need. And that's what that text did. It answered the question, where the heck is my cab? And it was a very pleasing little disturbing innovation.
Now that's nice when someone can answer the call of a problem, and that's a lot of entrepreneurs. That's how they get started, is
Right.
because they're not happy with something, or they find a need somewhere, and then they go out and try to find a fix for it. What about some of the disturbances that we see that are self-created? Can we talk about that, and how do you create your own disturbance when there really is no need out there?
I think there has to be a need out there. That's a reality. I think that there are so many needs out there that what I always say is, if you're not sure what it is, ask your customers. They'll tell you. Ask them what's keeping them up at night. Not just about, you know, today, but 6, 8, 12, 18 months down the road. Because there's something bothering them. There's something that you can do to help relieve, you know, that stressor from them. And that new product or service, that pain relief, if you will, that is the innovation. And that is a disturbance.
When it comes to creating that disturbance, you're suggesting that it doesn't have to be a world-changing idea or a revolutionary idea. Sometimes, are you suggesting that sometimes it can just be a little tweak on something?
Absolutely. Just with a taxi cab company, just like, you know, I use the cake pop as an example. I don't know if you've seen the cake pop. It's a little piece of cake that was put on a popsicle stick. If you haven't seen it, it's like a Timbit on a stick. And Angie Bakerella Dudley created these by accident. This was leftover cake. She put it on the stick. She swirled it around, sprinkled it. It's a worldwide phenomenon. Why? Because it's fun. It's engaging. It's easy to hold. It's great at parties, at birthday parties and weddings and whatnot. And it's just eaten by, enjoyed by millions of
So
people
what need
now.
did that possibly satisfy? I mean, did we really need a Timbit on a stick?
Well, you know what? I actually think that it satisfied a few needs. One, never underestimate fun and engaging, especially during a recession or a
Right.
depression. The other thing is we're moving to a more healthful lifestyle. Now, I'm not saying the cake on a stick
I
is
was going to
better.
say Timbit on a stick. I don't think you can
Right.
put that in the classification.
It's better than a slice of cake, and we still like our small indulgences. So it really answered that little treat that I would like to have. It's cleaner on the hands if you have children. And again, it's fun and engaging, and never underestimate something that just perks up people's lives.
You mentioned that asking your customers and clients what it is that's bothering them in order to make changes to your business, in order to come up with these revolutionary ideas. When your clients tell you what's bothering them, and now you've got a laundry list of things, you really have to parse that list, because they could be coming up with things that, well, this is bothering me, but it has nothing to do with your business, or it's just slightly off kilter of the business. So how do you define what are the things that you're going to try and help your client with, and what are the things that you're not going to
Right.
try and help your client with?
Well, that is critical to success in business, and we do have a 6-step process, and the 4th step is actually ranking. And a lot of people, they have so many opportunities, as you suggest, and they don't know which ones to choose. We have 3 types of ranking. We look at your long-term, like your vision or your mission, what your company is really about, your sales and marketing objectives. Do you want new clients within your region and another region? Do you want to introduce new products, or just better the ones you have? And obviously financial. So once you understand your core business, when you've defined that, when you understand your own company's goals, then you can list the different opportunities and start ranking them and know which ones apply best, which are right for you.
You mentioned 6 steps, and hopefully we won't give everything away in the book, but can you take us through some of those steps?
Sure. The first one is about, I call it engaging emotion, not numbers. It is always about the customer. And too often when we start thinking about our business or markets, or get into these brainstorming sessions, we're rambling off numbers, it's dates and figures. How about the emotion behind it? Why did we make that decision? Was it something a customer said? Was it a shift in the market? So that's the very first thing that we have to understand is, what problems are we going to solve? What things are we going to do to better our customers' lives? From there, we start defining our company, as I suggested. We get into an understanding of the competition. Who else is out there, the ranking, the identification, then the selection of the opportunities and implementation. And that's so critical, because so many people with new ideas, with innovation, they feel it's just going to walk its way to market. That's such a great idea. It's just going to happen.
They will come.
And you know what? It just doesn't seem to happen that way. So we're very rigorous on what are those 1, 2, 3 ideas that you need to go after, and what is your plan to market? Who's going to lead the plan? Identify the resources. Use your team as the feedback or advisory mechanism. And the last thing is about communication. And it's not just communicating to your customers. It's communicating to the people who weren't in the room making the decisions with you. And again, we sort of believe in business osmosis, where, everybody's got to know what I'm thinking. Everybody has to know.
They're in the
why.
company.
Yeah.
I mean, they deal with us. They must know what we're doing.
Yeah, figure out my direction, figure out my plans. We come up with those plans to market and explaining it to people.
Right. And I would imagine along the way somewhere you need to either test the market or research the market, because if you're working on a solution, chances are that someone else might be working on that same solution, and you don't want to put too many resources into that before you know if you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. There's a lot of what I'll call stage gating, which is, here are the ideas, let's go into a focus group, or let's build a working model, let's run it by our customers. But I don't want it to sound too daunting either, because if you're a solopreneur, if you're a small business, you can still talk it through with your customers. You told me this was your problem. Here's a solution that I believe is unique. Give me your feedback. What would you pay? How would you incorporate it? Should I launch it? So.
Yeah. Excellent. Ken, thanks so much for coming in. The book is Cause a Disturbance. The author is Ken Tencer, who has been my guest, who is a thought and innovation leader. Coming up, conjurer Dan Stapleton